A recent report finds a significant improvement in the 2014 poverty rate when compared to the year before, but it's still a major obstacle for thousands of Utahns. Barbara Muñoz is with the Community Action Partnership of Utah. She's here to break down the 2015 annual report on poverty. Welcome to Inside Utah Politics. Great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So let's talk about this issue here in the state of Utah. How many people really fall into poverty?
Well, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but I can tell you that the rate of poverty, as you mentioned, has significantly decreased from last year. And we're down to an overall rate, all individuals in Utah are down to an 11.7% poverty rate. Children are also down in there at a 13.3% poverty rate. Children are generally higher than the general population.
Okay. Put a face to this for us. Who are people in Utah that are struggling with poverty?
You know, it crosses all racial, age, ethnic, religion. People in poverty are in every single county. One of the things that we like to do in this report is break down poverty by county. And I think that really gives people an idea specifically which geographies in Utah are struggling a little bit more. And we do see a higher rate in Utah among our Hispanic Latino population, African American, Pacific Islander population. And we do know that even though those populations are small, they're growing in Utah, and so that's something that we like to keep an eye on, and we're concerned about.
That's something people may not realize. It may be someone they know from church, from school, a neighbor. It really goes across the board, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and I think one of the things that we like to remind people is that if you're earning a minimum wage job, even if you're earning slightly above minimum wage, you may still be under the poverty level even if you're working full-time. For instance, if you had a single parent with 3 children working a minimum wage job, 40 hours a week, 52 hours a year, they're only earning about $15,000 a year, which still puts them about $4,000 below the poverty line for a family of that size. So people can be working and working very hard and still very much fall into poverty.
Talk about the obstacles that they face on a daily basis. What are the big challenges that they run into?
Low-wage jobs, that was certainly something that we looked at this session. We saw that there's a large number of Utahns under the age of 50 that are working for less than $12 an hour. There was one bill that we were supporting that would have raised the minimum wage in Utah to $12 per hour, get people to a higher wage. So low-wage jobs, certainly one of the things that is an obstacle to higher quality of life and self-sufficiency. Affordable housing is a big problem in Utah. There's about a $46,000 shortage of affordable housing units in Utah. Our average 2-bedroom rent in Utah is about $870, if I'm trying to remember that off the top of my head. And to afford that adequately, a full-time worker would need to be making almost $16 an hour to be able to pay rent and be able to cover all their other needs as well. And healthcare is certainly an obstacle. Lack of affordable healthcare, particularly those people that fall into that coverage gap.
We talked a little bit about education earlier on the show. That really plays a role in education as well, doesn't it? Poverty.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the most striking numbers that you'll see in this report is that people without a high school diploma or equivalency in Utah have about a 1 in 5 chance of falling into poverty. Simply getting that high school diploma or equivalency drops that in half, down to about 11%. So a basic education is really key to keeping people out of poverty.
Okay. When we talk about moving forward on this, what are the solutions? How do we come together to help the people that need the help?
I think this legislative session, we started seeing some things move in the right direction. Certainly there was a big recognition that homelessness is still a problem in Utah. We have absolutely gotten well-deserved accolades on working on our chronic homeless problem, but the state is recognizing that we still have about 15,000 people experiencing homelessness throughout the year, and money was dedicated to resources to start working on that problem. I think there was a better conversation about health care this year. Certainly a lot of the low-income advocates would have preferred to see a full Medicaid expansion or something that was run last year, the Healthy Utah. But what ultimately was passed is a start. We hope that we can build on that next year in terms of uninsuring low-income folks. And certainly starting to look at how we can solve our low funding per pupil in education and making sure that children from all walks of life have access to basic education and training for careers.
All right, real quick, where can people find the report if they're interested in reading more about it?
They can find out more at caputah.org. Right from the front page there, we've got a link to our blog. And we also have some information about a poverty conference that we're going to be hosting coming up the end of April. So I really encourage people to visit our website.
All right, thank you so much for being here. It's great to have you.
Thank you.